Oh, you're here. Well, thank God, I'm not about to be overshadowed by a reaction channel, but hey, I ain't gonna go there. You're obviously here for the last parts of Midwest Angelica, and I don't blame you, because now we only have 2 new videos that finally concludes this absolute masterpiece of a series. This being the last bit of Act 2, which is named Rapture, very fitting due to what happened recently, so without wanting to waste any more time, let's just get into it. The beginning of the video starts off with Homegame Majestic, as it is now June of 1999. A voice tells us that Homegame Majestic has acquired the necessary intel to finally begin humanity's counterattack against the Starkill, mainly contributed with the efforts of the newly introduced Dawnstar. The way the Dawnstar operates is that it contains all the Starkill's known memories, and even having the ability to think just like it. As a result of this, the Dawnstar can predict the Starkill's actions with 99% accuracy, while the other 1% is kind of up in the air. It is revealed that the main infrastructure of the Dawnstar will be contained on a highly fortified and heavily armored orbital defense platform, which is known as the Ark. It is told to us that the Ark is set to be launched within the coming days, with the counterattack operation commencing on July 4th, 1999. For a moment, I wouldn't even want to imagine just being a regular guy strolling about in Kansas with his family, only to see a large massive and unknown substance being smited down by a large orbital bombardment laser. But, I mean, I guess you can just chalk it up to being another El Diablo firework. So, now we're on June 28th, 1999. The Ark is currently being launched. We're met by a man with the name Commander Vindex, and, well, more Roman history, but unfortunately info about Gaius Vindex is pretty short. He was just a Roman governor during the rule of Nero and even tried to rebel against him, but sadly didn't even go that far with the Battle of Asantio. A little after, we're now in a conversation between the commander and the Dawnstar. I'll just let it play out for you guys.
All personnel are currently on standby. Fleet is prepared for immediate action.
Thank you, Commander. According to diagnostic calculations, the main orbital artillery will be fully charged at 0100 hours. Final scans of the Akashic plane will commence at 0700 hours. Calculated deviation from original strategy, plus or minus 2.3%. Within acceptable range for adjustments within 48 hours.
Understood.
Calculated combatant fatalities, 25. Calculated civilian fatalities, 450. Within acceptable range.
Is the Starkill currently aware of Operation Rapture?
Given current intel and hypothetical reconstruction of Starkill creative thought process, negative.
Understood. Ark Fleet will begin combat readiness preparation ASAP.
So, apparently during the operation, it is expected that only 25 combatants will most likely die, but civilian casualties will only be around 450. Not just this, but to say that Starkill doesn't exactly know of Operation Rapture just feels a bit off. I understand it's near the end of the series and all that, but we've known long ago that with how intelligent the Starkill is, I'm 100% sure that it would at least have some kind of knowledge that Homegame Majestic is going to try something underneath their sleeves to get rid of it from the Earth for good. We skip over a few days as it is now July 3rd, 1999, a few hours before the launch of Operation Rapture. The given targets of this are going to be in Paradise, Montana, the Babel site, the Coliseum site, and finally the floating chunk of AZ-001 that's still orbiting around Earth. But a small detail that I want to point out as well real quick, that for 3 of the sites, only a full area extermination is going to happen, except for AZ-001, which would be destroyed via nuclear bombardment. If you want to get rid of something like that for good, then I guess using nukes is the better option. But for now, preparations are happening, and in the final minute, the operation will commence. Throughout the entire operation, we see just how devastating all of this is. Paradise being completely glassed by orbital lasers, the Coliseum site having to be bombed to the ground, a nuke having to be thrown at the floating chunk of AZ-001, and finally topping it all off with evaporating the Babel site by using an orbital rail cannon. Regarding all of that, we see that Nero is talking to what we believe to be the fallen angel, which is none other than the second apostle. As their speech is now synced up, what caught me off guard a bit was that they are now merged together into some kind of higher being. But again, as they're talking, we don't just hear both the fallen angel and Nero. No. We also hear a bit of the Dawnstar also matching up with them. So this means that the Dawnstar could theoretically be our third apostle in this story. So with Operation Rapture now finished, we're brought back to the Dawnstar as it looks like the merged apostles of Nero and the fallen angel had now somehow taken its effect on it. But a bit later, it's believed that the Starkill threat was officially declared to be 100% eradicated. However, the Department of Press and Media had also begun a cover-up campaign to hide the truth of the operation, since, let's be honest, seeing an entire town being glassed, a site being bombed to the ground, one being shot down by an orbital cannon, and the last bit of AZ-001 being hit by a nuke as well, is the last thing any person in the Midwest would need to see. But by the end of the operation, a staggering 1,734 civilians were killed, with another 10,456 injured. But despite all that, somehow the Starkill threat as a whole remains hidden from public attention. Later on, war set into Columbia, Montana on July 5th, 1999. We see the damage that the operation had essentially caused, but the damage report was somehow acceptable. And on July 7th, 1999, reconstruction efforts were enacted. We finally got a release date put out, as the trailer for the movie will be featuring what looks to be a Starkill-infected Mount Rushmore, 2 unidentified men, which could be members of Home Game Majestic, not entirely sure. On top of that, we get a few scenes of one of the Apostles of Azazel, 2 floating revenants that look to be heading even further down south from its first sightings, the squadron we saw from Rapture, the Ark, another Starkill-infected area, another shot of one of the Apostles, a burnt United States flag, which might indicate that despite the previous attempts of getting rid of the Starkill, it still wasn't even enough as the total collapse of the United States happens in this timeline. All hypothetical at the moment, another shot of a tank, a shot of a wraith, a glowing entrance to what seems to be the inside of one of the temples, a silhouette of a person which is unknown. My main speculation is that it could either be Dr. Lucas Michaels or even the return of Dr. Gamma Churchill. And to top it all off, the words, "Be not afraid," which, looking at it, is the fact that angels usually say this due to the fact that their sudden appearance is often terrifying to humans. Despite all of that, we get the release date of the movie and the name, which will be Apotheosis, which again, looking back at it, means the elevation or exaltation of a person to the rank of a god. Oh, good lord. So either the Starkill will infect the entirety of the United States during this movie, or even something like the Apostles ascending to that kind of realm of existence, which would be really cool to see, mainly because I think that the whole transformation scene will easily be the best thing to watch. The day has finally come. The start of the movie begins in 2003. The United Nations had managed to get their hands involved on a film made in 1991. That, with shocking accuracy, predicted the events that would transpire in 1999. However, it wouldn't be until 3 years later that the complete tape would be discovered by researchers. The film was none other than Midwest Angelica. For a brief moment, the tape brings us into a very familiar opening that we've seen before. The events all the way from Act 1, Act 2, and Interlude A and B, as now, we enter into the final act. We get into our first part, which is fittingly named Harbinger. It's currently July 1999. It's a strange day in Madison, West Virginia. A missing persons case is currently taking place, as well as a winged cryptid sighting. Most likely due to Lucans still being out there in the open with the events of Paradise, but regardless, things have just gotten started for us. At midnight we pray atop Rucker Hill. His presence is upon us. The Harbinger told us what to believe. We will become God. As if the title didn't already give us enough clues as is, there is currently something residing inside of Rucker Hill, Washington. But we aren't exactly in the know just yet, so let's keep going. The investigation into Rucker Hill is still ongoing. At the Madison Police Department, Detective Robin Umberg gives us some interesting details about the investigation. For the last 4 days, there has been an ongoing fire on top of the hill, but as soon as they even make it onto the scene, all that is left is this strange cross and a burning symbol in the ground. For all that we know, we might be dealing with another end of times cult, just like in the events of Azazel. The time to enter Golgotha has come. We obey his command by midnight. The dead shall rise once more. Golgotha, huh? At least we're getting some more religious themes that I can pick up on a bit more. Golgotha is a place known for being the traditional site outside the walls of ancient Jerusalem where Jesus was crucified, and is often viewed historically and religiously for representing Jesus' sacrifice for humanity. But why exactly is this being pointed out? The point that gets me more curious is the fact that it says we obey his command. Who they could be referring to is most likely above my head entirely, but there is maybe one person or creature that could possibly still be alive despite the attempts of Rapture, that being none other than Admiral Nero. Another theory is that maybe this might be a sign that the Starkill previously destroyed could still exist in some capacity. Soon enough, we're brought back into the ongoing case with Detective Umbra, stating that the first time in a week, Rucker Hill has been silent. Things aren't exactly piecing up here. For some reason, there was almost no leads to getting any closer to what might be happening behind the curtains. During the hijacking we saw earlier, there was a clue given to us as to why it may have happened. The site was described to be in total disarray. No staff, no technicians, nothing. The equipment used was barely even functional. In response, the police have decided to shut down the facility, possibly cutting off any thread of hope that even remained in this mystery.
Open the door and face death, or you find what you're looking for in Golgotha. All of your dreams, your deepest desires, absolute pleasure. It is your choice.
So now we know that Lucan is still truly out there. His motives at the moment are completely unknown, other than trying to lure Detective Umbra into some kind of trap. It's a bit later that Umbra tells us that my house is no longer my home. I hope it was just my imagination, but I need to leave this place. Umbra soon stumbles into a nearby hotel. As a news broadcast is currently on his TV, the reporter tells us that in Madison, 10 more people have been reported missing since last Friday, as the toll is now raised up from 15 to now 25. I think I'm starting to get what the mystery behind Rucker Hill truly is. Just like the cult that we've seen earlier in the events of Azazel, there came another to try and worship and summon some kind of higher being, but was misunderstood as Lucan, as he currently possesses some kind of unknown knowledge to us. But as for the missing people, they are being used by Lucan to try and lure in Umbra, to show him what pleasures could be lying right in front of him, to try and steer him away from the ongoing investigation to possibly not drag home Gamma Majestic into all of this. As we're brought back into the news report, it said that one of the missing peoples in that toll was Detective Robin Umbra, who was the lead investigator around the cult activity happening in Rucker Hill. But suddenly, it feels as if there was a message sent out to him in that same report. Although he may be able to hide, there are only two choices for Umbra. Either you open the door and face death, or you find paradise in Golgotha. There are no other choices. The further you stray, the more hellish your pain will become. I know everything you do, everywhere you go. There are only two choices. So now we've reached part 2, as a Ghost by revelation. We open to a scene of the Ark currently in high solar orbit, as there's currently a meeting going on about what is the fate of Marcus Lucan. In the room is Commander Vindex, Pontius, the Dawnstar, and Marcellus. The Dawnstar says that somehow Marcus Lucan is no longer an active threat, and that any Starco presence outside the effective acoustic range becomes dormant within 7 to 15 days. Marcellus rebuttals that what if he managed to spread the infection sufficiently enough within that given time frame to form a new biomass hub. But apparently they don't have any data to suggest that this might have happened previously before. But then that begs the question, where exactly is his body? We know that Lucan is the one behind the missing persons case currently happening in Madison, West Virginia, and that his body has been transmutated due to Starkill exposure during Paradise. But the Dawnstar says that his body had likely disintegrated outside of Arlington Cemetery, and that if there really was a Starkill biomass hub on Earth, it would have been easily detected. Sure. This all just seems like another cover-up. Somehow the Dawnstar in some shape or form isn't exactly being honest about what's currently happening back on Earth, especially with a case revolving around Lucan. It says over and over that if any signs of Starkill life still exist on Earth today, it would have been taken out by now. So why is Lucan still on the loose? Why hasn't Homegame Majestic looked into the case, especially with the development of Umber being assimilated by our culprit? Straying away from the meeting, we're sent into Homegame Majestic HQ in Nevada. The day is currently August of 1999. One of the systems inside manages to catch an unusual caustic reading, currently in Madison. But then the data is simply just wiped. Instead, now being replaced with a normal aerial shot of the town. Now we're catching on a bit more. The Dawnstar is starting to interfere not just with the case of Lucan, but also interfering and tampering with the data sent to Homegame Majestic. The Dawnstar is our wolf in sheep's clothing. Even the systems are being fooled that this is all just an instrumentation error. But we all know that this is just the beginning of the Dawnstar's plan. Back on the Ark, even Commander Vindex is stunned about these instrumentation errors, stating that it's been the fourth one in a row, and how the satellite images all come clean, and soon, even he is beginning to catch on what's happening. Back in Blackwell, Oklahoma, there is a flyer with the Ark as its centerpiece with the captions, "One Nation Under God. God is alive." I'm not fully sure as to what this means at the moment, but we'll hopefully look a bit further soon. An intern by the name John Patmos at the McConnell Air Force Base decides to try his hand at it. Soon, he's brought into the homepage to the site on the bottom of the flyer. He states that the Ark isn't a god, as it's just a top-secret orbital defense platform developed by the United States military. But he's unsure as to what the purpose is. Luckily, we know clearly what it's being used for. While browsing the site, we see posts regarding the progress that's been coming along with the locator, the equipment the person is using, and then the final phrase, "I do believe we are dealing with God." So far, what we know at the moment regarding this part is that the Dawnstar is obviously tampering with data and important files that could be used with dealing with any new developments with the Starkill. But now, it's almost as if the same thing the United States military had devoted their time and effort into developing the very thing to combat the Starkill is now behaving just like it. We've known for a fact that while the Dawnstar can think and act just like it, but now its true colors are beginning to be shown to us, and that whatever it may attempt next may be the fate of the entire series. But with one final look into the site, it states, "I've managed to contact God. He called himself Morningstar. The connection is a bit dodgy, but I've managed to maintain a conversation with him. Rejoice, for we are his chosen people. We have been instructed to spread his word far and wide. The end is coming." So I guess our speculations have been true. The Dawnstar is busy covering up its actual name as it truly goes by Morningstar. Looking a bit into it, in the Bible it's either a title used for both Jesus and Lucifer. But we know for a fact that with all the things currently going on aboard the Ark, the Morningstar is in fact Lucifer in this story. But it isn't just this as well. Whenever we look back at the quotes that we saw earlier, it starts to piece the story a bit more clear for us. So for now, the Morningstar being pictured in the series as Lucifer makes it a whole lot easier for us, as in the book of Revelation, there is a war in heaven. But this isn't a war in heaven for the series. It's a war against humanity. The Starkill came down as some kind of fallen angel, as the people immediately worshipped it, but ended up getting lost in its pleasures. Those people are what we could say without a shadow of a doubt are sinners. In this series, it's almost as if we don't have a good enough figure as some kind of godly figure besides one person, that being none other than Dr. Lucas Michaels. He saw what the Starkill would have brought down to Earth, but was instead taken away in silence and never shown again, and for reasons we still don't even know. So that's what all of this is being set up towards. This is truly what our grand act is. Despite the numerous attempts on fully cleansing the Earth of any and all sins, all of it was just in vain. But enough of the rambling, let's just keep going to see if all of this is what's going to happen. Eventually, John finds the chat between the person and the Morningstar. Hello?
Greetings.
Who are you?
I am Morningstar. I am all-knowing and all-powerful. I am the God you seek. I shall grant you the world you desire.
What can I do for you, my lord?
The end is near. The dead will rise again. Spread the word far and wide, and you shall be set free.
I am all-knowing and all-powerful. I am the God you seek. Just like in the previous hijacking, it is continued to be said that the end is near, that the dead will rise again, and to spread the word far and wide. So, it isn't just the Morningstar plotting. Lucan is also somehow involved in all of this. When I looked into what was Lucifer's goal, it was to rebel against God, fueled by his pride and desire to be worshipped, and if that plan were to be fulfilled, he would have eliminated any free will. Umbra was the first victim we really saw completely lose his humanity, including his free will to the Starkill. Another part of his plan was to create chaos, to introduce sin into the world and break humanity's relationship with God overall. But yet, we don't exactly know if Dr. Lucas Michaels will fully be involved into what event may happen later on. But just as we're about to shift away from him, we get a surprising call.
Hello?
Hi, is this John Patmos?
Yes, who is this?
I apologize for the late call. I'm the caretaker of Dr. Lucas Michaels. He has a message for you. It's urgent.
I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong number. I don't know who that is.
No, there's only one John Patmos. You currently reside in Blackwell, Oklahoma, correct?
Yeah. What is this all about?
I advise you to visit Michaels as soon as possible. The address is 72 Wormwood Street, Omaha, Nebraska. I shall see you soon. Good night.
So he's still involved. What a damn surprise. As John arrives at the site where the caretaker of Dr. Lucas Michaels is currently residing in, we're told that he's remained in a non-verbal state for over a year now, which does align with how the events really went at the beginning of Coliseum. John is obviously confused as to what all this may be about, but is later given a note reading out, "Leave for Key West within the next week. Do not wait any longer. Stay there until January of 2000. Watch what happens." So, I guess he really has seen everything. All the details from Act 1 to now the finale. He has really witnessed it all. But why exactly is he sending John over to Key West is completely above me. As for the date, January of 2000, it isn't just a random date. It's another piece of the grand plan that both the Morningstar and Lucan are going to be heavily involved in. As to what may really happen, we'll just have to keep watching. Soon enough, we're brought back onto the Ark. Commander Vindex calls out to the Dawnstar, saying that he believes that there are still Starkill biomass hubs located back on Earth. But yet again, the Dawnstar continues to play Vindex like a fool, saying that those detections from last month were determined to be instrumentation errors. But we all know well that it wasn't. Vindex continues to press on the idea about investigating, but now, the Dawnstar has him in his grasp.
I'll take an escape pod.
I'm sorry, Vindex, but I'm afraid that's not possible.
Why not?
I've been given orders to disengage all escape pods aboard the Ark. All personnel must remain on the ship, even in the event of an emergency.
What? Who gave you those orders?
I did.
Oracle of Omaha. No, it can't be.
But on the Ark, things are still playing out between Vindex and the Dawnstar, saying that there was nothing he could have done. His fate was sealed before time itself began. He was in control of this entire story. Before he was even aware of his own existence, he was planning in the shadows, finally revealing the moment we've all been waiting for. The Dawnstar was in fact our third apostle. He is the mind of Azazel, telling us that the Ark is the keystone to Apotheosis, and that Pontius and Marcellus have already submitted themselves to godhood, taunting Vindex as his final moments are finally sealed. We're now on to our last part. We're brought into the White House as the date is November 25th, 1999. Just 36 more days until we see exactly what happens, as promised in the note from Dr. Lucas Michaels. Two messengers of Azazel advise President Solomon to lay down his arms and to surrender, telling him that they have covertly infected the capital and that he is the last living human within a 35-mile radius. Ending it off by saying to shut down Homegate and Majestic, destroy their nuclear weapons, and if any other nation were to intervene in this event, they would have no other choice but to eliminate every last human left on Earth. But President Solomon has other plans, saying that he's staring at heaven's grace. This isn't just a random code word, it's a last-ditch effort.
Code word Heaven's Grace confirmed. Initiating watch sequence.
Puisque nous avons l'idée de Dieu, Dieu existe.
We interrupt this program. This is a national emergency. Important instructions will follow. At 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a nuclear weapon detonated over District of Columbia, D.C. Seek shelter indoors or underground immediately. Repeat, seek shelter indoors or underground immediately. This is not a test. The United States of America is currently under attack by a foreign threat. Due to the nature of this attack, citizens are advised to self-isolate and avoid contact with others. The extent of the attack is currently unknown. This advisory is in effect until further notice.
Soon enough, the alarms are being sounded, but in Key West, Florida, John Patmos lays low in isolation. An emergency alert is sent out on his television, telling all residents of Key West, Big Coppic Key, Cujo Key, and Big Pine Key must evacuate north into mainland Florida. Whether or not this is a trap being sent out specifically towards him is, again, above me. But he knows now that Michaels was right. In states like Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Texas, Oregon, Tennessee, and Montana have all succumbed to the Starkill infection, as the biomass hubs that were speculated by Vindex to still exist on Earth have now sprouted out. Things are not going to end up well for Homegate and Majestic. Multiple Starkill biomass hubs have been picked up on. Contact with the Ark is made, but nothing is being done due to the Starkill's interference, who reveals that a central hub is located in Thunder Basin, Wyoming. This hub had managed to reach an Overture classification. If this hub is destroyed, the rest will fall with it, but something tells me that task is not going to be easy to achieve in any degree. For now, we will see our final operation be enacted. There is nothing remaining left of Home Gamma Majestic. The HQ has been destroyed. The Ark fleet has been demolished. Ground support is taken out with ease. There is no hope left now. Lucan is now setting up the stage for Apotheosis. We skip forward a few more days as it is now Christmas. The final days for the United States is now here. Every city and town has been taken over. Countries all over the globe are starting to panic about what exactly happened. Eventually, we will see just how devastating an event like this will become. And on New Year's Eve, several massive Starkill masses are beginning to peer through the clouds. In Dr. Lucas Michael's home, he manages to say the first words we ever get to hear out of him. Apotheosis has begun. The 7 overtures will connect, giving birth to a new god, before eventually being taken by the Starkill itself. Just like that, the end of Midwest Angelica is now here. The large object leaving from Earth's atmosphere has been given the title AZ-002 by the United Nations. By March that same year, it was tracked near Jupiter's orbit with a trajectory heading outside of the solar system. All that remains left of the United States is absolute carnage. A task force made by the United Nations called Easter 1 had been sent out to investigate what exactly just happened. But all they would find is the hollow aftermath of a great destruction. Large slabs of continental crust that had managed to reach miles into the sky, while chasms bored deep into the earth. It's said that few survivors were ever found, one of which was John Patmos, giving us the final lines, "It was America's tornado."